I just got my ticket to this evening's AHL game for $40, where the NHL counterpart just 20 minutes across the city would have cost me $400 to get the exact same seat. But today we're actually gonna find out if it's actually a better deal, so let's head inside. To determine what is the better deal, we'll be putting every aspect of the game day experience to the test to see if it's worth it to skip out on the NHL and go to an AHL game instead. And there isn't a better testing ground than one of the most popular organizations in hockey. We'll have a 7-round series for all of the elements to figure out a winner, and I'll even call in a former first-round NHL draft pick who played in both leagues to give us his thoughts. It's pretty simple. Round 1 goes to Laval in the AHL. $40 lower bowl tickets versus $400. I mean, come on. Now, this brings us to round number 2, the arena. Alrighty, we just got to our seat right in time for warm-ups. Now, I will say, Place Bell is a revolutionary venue when it comes to AHL rinks. I mean, it's basically an NHL atmosphere here. It sits like 10,000. However, you know I'm going to have to give the edge to the Bell Center. It is just one of the best rinks in the world, so iconic and a lot of history. And of course, we got a couple of buddies playing in tonight's game for Laval. Noel Hoffenmeyer, former Ottawa 67, and he's not in the lineup tonight, but on the Bridgeport side, Matt Maggio. The national anthem can add a lot to any game day experience, and the Bell Center consistently puts off one of the best in the world. But can Laval's beat them?
We gladly respect the Canadian and U.S. national anthems, those performing the anthems tonight, as well as the players that represent each country.
What a national anthem. Doesn't quite beat the Bell Center though. NHL wins that round. I will say that is one thing that the American Hockey League has on the NHL. I don't know the numbers for sure, but there's definitely more fights in the lower leagues than the top. All right, that's all she wrote for the period. Let's go get some food. I'm gonna put myself to a little challenge. I have to order it in French, and if you know me, en français, comme ci, comme ça. It's not a pretty sight. Bonjour, ça va? Oui, une poutine avec poulet au buffalo, s'il vous plaît.
On n'a pas la sauce buffalo, par exemple.
Oui.
C'est correct?
Oui. Et un Coke Zero, s'il vous plaît.
Poutine puis un Coke Zero, c'est tout?
Oui.
C'est à vous.
Merci. Avec the payee card. I actually think I'm getting the hang of it. That went pretty seamlessly. We got our food. She spoke French with me the whole time, which is honestly a big win. Now, it honestly only took like 11 minutes to get this. Total on this with the tip was just over $21. Yeah, $21.49. Now, I will say, if you take a look, a great choice of stadium fry here. And of course, you got those rubbery, squeaky cheese curds, which are the only cheese curds and the only cheese that should be acceptable for a poutine. But all in all, for the price versus the quality of the food, Place Bell and the Laval Rocket take the edge. Now I will say, I think one of the big reasons why the Laval Rocket gets such a great turnout for attendance in comparison to other American Hockey League teams is because they did a great job when they came back in like 2018, whenever it was, to not only get involved with the community, but also the culture. Like Laval Rocket, I mean, they're named after Rocket Richard, not only one of the best Montreal Canadiens ever, one of the best goal scorers in the history of hockey, who, you know, of course, Richard, French-Canadian. Now, to evaluate the skill on the ice, despite me covering the sport of hockey for over a decade, I didn't think I was best suited to do this, which is why I called in my buddy Ty Wishart to fill us in, a former first-round NHL draft pick who played in over 300 AHL games, 2 of those seasons actually with Bridgeport, the road team we're watching tonight. He also suited up for 26 NHL games during that time. As a hockey player, kind of evaluating skill sets, what would you attest to being the biggest difference between the AHL and the NHL?
Geez, it's just execution, details. The running thing and going up and down, it's actually, they say it's easier to play in the NHL than it is in the American League because guys are just that much better positionally. It's not a massive difference. It's just execution and, positioning.
Probably the best person to ask this question to, because you got a young family, family of 5, and one of the elements of the video has basically been the price difference, right? For like the skill sets that you see on the ice, if you took your family of 5 to an NHL game, depending on the market, say Montreal, that roughly cost you almost like $2,000 if you're down in the lower bowl, versus maybe like $400 in the AHL. From a dad and a hockey player perspective, what's the better bang for your buck there?
Well, I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious. When you're thinking dollars and cents, the American League, it's incredible hockey. Like, guys are just on the cusp. They also, you get guys that are going every single night because they do have the opportunity to get the chance in the NHL.
Awesome, I love it. So the AHL wins that round.
Definitely.
And there you have it. AHL for player skill set takes the edge. Laval's up 3-2. The Rockets just scored, but I need you to do me a favor. I'm trying to land us an ESPN show. I think they'll notice us if we hit 100,000 subscribers, so you can hit that button, because frankly, I'm running out of money, and I just want to do crazier episodes. And I think, yeah, ESPN, they'll probably pay attention if we hit 100,000 subs. We're just about to start the third period. Honestly, the atmosphere in here has been incredible, really, really good. Again, especially for a second-tier league to the NHL. Unfortunately, though, there is nothing that is ever going to beat the Bell Center. That is one of the most iconic crowds and atmospheres that you can experience in the sport of hockey. So, of course, I got to give the edge to the Montreal Canadiens and the NHL for atmosphere. We are all tied up heading into round 7, but before we find out who wins, shout out to UB Man, the Canadiens mascot. He would have never done me dirty like this. Alrighty, we're all the way up at the top of the stadium, and yeah, still a fantastic view up here, I must say. The infamous empty netter, which brings us to the last round of the series, ease to leave. Is it easier to get out of Place Bell or the Bell Center? And so obviously it is much easier to leave Place Bell than the downtown hustle and bustle of the Bell Center. So hey, the AHL takes the series 4-3, and it's official. It's much more better to go to an American Hockey League game than the NHL. Actually, plot twist though, they're two totally separate things that need each other to coexist. And honestly, if I can leave you with any advice, go out and support your local club no matter what level of hockey or sport it is. In the meantime, stay best kind.